Hello everybody and welcome into the Grindstone Developments Truck Series live tonight in Irish Hills, Michigan, at Michigan International Speedway for one of the last few remaining races of the season. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. You're watching Austin Green on PGR eSports. Well, qualifying is complete. Finally able to be perfectly on time this week. Didn't have any pre-race issues. So without any further ado, let's get right down trackside and get into tonight's starting grid. Taking the pole, the man that has been the most dominant all season, whether it's been qualifying, racecraft, or most wins. That's Craig Janczak, and the 88 puts down a 39.272. Rodney Pitcock will start to his outside in second here tonight with John Legger back in third. James Harris in the 55, the man that came so close last week to making it back-to-back wins. He will start fourth. Caleb Forsyth back in the fifth spot. It'll be last week's winner, the underdog win of the season, Kevin Kirchar, out of nowhere on the last lap, got the job done at Atlanta. He'll start sixth here tonight. Jason Ethery back at seventh with Kevin Ward in eighth. Tyler Meeks in ninth, and Jason Taylor rounding out your top 10. It's going to be Brad Thacker in the 56 truck starting back in 11th with Brian Toole to his outside in 12th. Back in row number 7, it's going to be George Young alongside Brandon Ball in the 17. Wesley Shaw starts in 15th with Bryce Rayner to his outside in 16th. Toby Ritters will start 17th with Wesley Carter back in 18th. And it's Michael Hill 19th and Eli Childs rounding out the top 20. Kevin Martin will start 21st. It's going to be Stephen Pless to his outside in 22nd. That rounds out your 22 truck field. Just before we grab the green, let's talk about what the race info looks like here. It's the Michigan 132. So the distance will run here tonight, 66 laps. That breaks down to 132 miles. 100% fuel, 4 sets of tires. As always, you do have one fast spare if you need it. Open setups, and then 2 green-white checkers if we were to need those. Weather in the sim, 67 degrees, 87% humidity with overcast skies and winds at 13 miles an hour. We'll see if that plays a little bit of a factor. Michigan International Speedway 2-mile D-shaped oval. Track temp under 100 degrees starting. High banking in the corners and long straights for a lot of pushing and shoving and a lot of drafting both ways. And it's Legacy Atlanta, so this one's a little bit faster than the newer version. Here we go. A couple of big D-shaped ovals to end the season. First Michigan. Next up it'll be Auto Club. Let's see who's going to get it done tonight. Green flag is in the air. We are racing in Michigan. Good restart right away. They're quickly able to single file in line. That was Rodney Pitcock that had the absolute heater of a restart. Was able to get right around Craig Janczak, but as they worked through 1 and 2, Janczak crossed him over, took that position right back. He'll lead him onto the backstretch for the first time here tonight. Watch out back. We got a couple bobbing and weaving. It looks like they're going to go 3 wide here. Can everybody keep it together? So far they do as they work down the backstretch into turn 3 up front. Janczak still in control. 1 in the wall. Looks like that might be the 112 machine of Kevin Ward. And indeed it is. He'll lose a few spots as they're going to go 3, almost 4 wide now out back. They will go 4 wide just briefly. Lap 1 in the books goes to Craig Janczak. Remember, here at Michigan, you can utilize any portion of the racetrack you want to. That includes going below that yellow line, whether that be on the front stretch, the back stretch, or even in the turns, although not a lot of grip down there in the corners. I don't think we'll see anybody really flirting with trying that, but nonetheless, as Janczak continues to lead, John Legger in the 19 on the outside in the Hot Wheels machine, trying to see if he can get his hot rod to the front, and then the Team Conti number 1 of Rodney Pitcock looked great on that restart and continues to apply the pressure right now. Here comes the 99, looking to the bottom. Can we get another move here? James Harris in the 55. I said the 99. He's got the Ben Rhodes paint scheme, but of course, James Harris, the number 55, trying to roll down to the bottom of the racetrack. Now, what I did want to mention, though, here at Michigan, especially in these trucks, again, they've got that massive spoiler in the back. They're just so draft dependent that it's going to be hard for anybody to really just pull away with the lead unless we get really, really deep into a run. If we get a caution at any point to break that up, I don't think we're going to see guys necessarily getting separated too much for the rest of the race, but there's still a possibility if this thing goes green long enough. And of course, we could also see a green flag pit stop if everything goes as planned. New leader up front, the 19 of John Legger is going to take control here at Michigan with just 4 of 66 laps complete. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the Michigan 132, the Grindstone Developments Truck Series. This is the last few races of the season for these guys, and I think for the most part, everybody kind of knows who's going to get the job done in terms of the point standings. but still a lot of tracks where we could see a lot of new winners. We saw a new winner last week. Maybe the best underdog story of the season, Kevin Kirchar, did everything right just a week ago. I guess I should say now 2 weeks ago at Daytona. Was about 100 feet from winning the race, coming to the start-finish line. He gets hooked. And then last week at Atlanta, the field, multiple wrecks on the last lap and multiple big wrecks. He gets through all of them and makes a move on the man that won Daytona the week before that, James Harris, to steal his first win of the season. Love to see it, and I know Kevin was pretty pumped up about it. He talks just about how competitive everybody in this series is. We've seen it week in and week out, and obviously seeing it again here tonight. But for Kevin Kirchar, certainly that win feeling like a special one. How about the 69, Stephen Pless? Haven't had an opportunity to call that name too much, at least not so far this season, but Stephen, the driver out of Gainesville, Georgia, good looking paint scheme for him here tonight. He's already up 5 positions from where he started this race at. Eli Childs in the number 9 Team Conti machine, trying to make his way through the field. I believe Eli, one of the drivers who runs in the college series, the NASCAR college series, so getting some extra reps in here tonight with these guys. George Young in 15th. You've got Tyler Meeks up in 14th, going in the wrong direction. He's down 4 positions from where he started this race at. Toby Clifford currently up in 13th. Back up all the way at the front, though, John Legger trying to leg it out just a little bit. Man, you see what I did there. Nonetheless, though, right now, John up 2 spots from where he started this race at. Qualifying is so important here. And really the best time to obviously get that track position is on the restarts. And once you kind of feel like you're done battling, you immediately have to go into tire saving mode. You cannot sit around here and just try to run as hard as you can every lap. You will burn these Goodyear tires off so quickly. And once the truck eventually starts to loosen up here, it gets really difficult to drive. Takes a while to get to that point, but if you're not careful, you certainly get there a whole lot quicker than you might realize. 7 of 66 laps complete. It'll be 8 as they cross the line this time. So far, so good. We've been clean and green all the way up to this point. We'll take you to some of our driver cams now. We'll kick things off first here with 3 of the guys that are kind of spread out to the field. First up, James Harris. You see him on the top left right there. For James right now, just trying to keep everything in control, not necessarily trying to do too much. He told us last week in his interview that Michigan is easily one of his best tracks, and said that last season, with the comeback he had, felt like if he didn't get wrecked twice, probably could have won that race. So he's looking for some redemption himself here tonight, not only for last season, but after last week where he came so close to making it back-to-back wins, and he's moved himself pretty close to second now in terms of point standings. So still in contention for at least a podium finish via points, even if he's not going to be able to quite steal that from Craig Janzak. Toby Ritters, a.k.a. Clifford, currently sitting in the 12th spot, again up 5 positions from where he started this race at, and he's kind of in the middle of the swarm, the chaos, if you will. We'll hop on board with him right here. And notice, look how smooth his hands are. He's got the 5-point harness on in the racing seat. And just very steady. When you exit the corner right there, the transition from the banking back onto the straight, the back end seems to get a little bit light. It wants to get loose. And the goal isn't to necessarily steer it out of the corner. You're kind of trying to drive it straight out of the corner. And now he's looking for a little bit of fresh air. That's another key here. Oh, watch out. Kevin Kirchar up ahead there. It looked like he got a little loose coming off of 4. He keeps it together. But the point I was getting ready to make is that's the other thing that you'll see a lot of guys try to do here. It's such a wide racetrack and can really work any lane. And that's what you have to do when you get further back in the pack, because you're searching for any kind of clean air that you can find. Sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes it's in the bottom, sometimes it's on the top. Here's Michael Hill, driver out of Gulfport. Right now sits in the 27th spot, down 3 from where he started this race at. Michael Hill, maybe not been quite the storybook season for him, but certainly has been consistent. Able to show up every week and just getting better and better, and you know it's just a matter of time before he puts together a run that gives him that extra little boost of confidence that he needs. Go up there and start fighting for wins. I think we're going to see him be a pretty big threat next season. He's trying to round out this season potentially with a win before things are all said and done. And then last but certainly not least, as we head back towards the front of the field, is Bryce Rayner, who currently sits in the 9th spot. Driver out of Clark Summit, Pennsylvania. Right now on the inside of Brad Thacker. And that 99 going to try to stay there. He's looking for the quarter panel, but he's not going to get it. He'll have to tuck back down in line for now. Got the Mardone PC paint scheme on that Toyota Tundra. And you see the Team Conti sponsorship on the front hood. So for the 99 Rainer, he's going to take that spot. What a move that was. Little under and over. He's going to now move up back into the 9th position. In fact, that might scoot him up to the 8th spot, as he will now look to try to chase Jason Nethery. Up front, James Harris now is your leader, the 19. Had it for a while, and then all of a sudden, things went south really quickly for John Lager, and this was part of the reason I mentioned tire saving. Is when you get aggressive here and you run really, really hard and try to wear out those tires, this is what happens on the back end of it. All of a sudden, you feel like your truck hits a brick wall and you just can't go anywhere anymore. I think that may be what happened to the 19 machine. So now, James Harris, he's got some clean air. These guys behind him are not going anywhere anytime soon. They are in the draft, and they're going to be staying there for the greater portion of the next probably 10 to 20 laps or so. So I think if you're Harris right here, just take it easy, conserve some tire while you're in front, but try to maintain that track position. You do not want to let these guys start getting the clean air at this point in the run, and I think Janczak is going to be trying to look for it soon here. He looks to the inside of Caleb Forsyth. By the way, Craig Janczak, usually carrying it on board for us, but 2 weeks in a row now, the last 2 weeks, bad luck on the last lap has prevented him from getting another win. I wonder if maybe he decided to change it up, maybe some superstition for Craig Janczak. Kevin Kirchar tucked in line on that top lane. And by the way, the speeds that these guys are running here in Michigan, pretty incredible. I mean, I'm talking speeds that really you used to seeing at a Talladega or a Daytona. Down in the low to mid 170s through the corner, but as they draft down the straights, watch the speed here for Craig Janczak. He's going to creep well up into the 180s, maybe even the 190s here before they get into turn 3. And he's going to top out right at about 188. We'll see what the top speed he gets down the front stretch is. But there you see that 79-degree track temp that we talked about at the start. And in sim time right now, it's about 417, but it's full overcast. That's what's kind of helping keep this track temp so cool, and obviously only 67 ambient temperature, as these two are going to go side by side now. Janczak didn't want to stay in line, so he's going to duck to the inside. Caleb Forsyth, though, topping out in the upper 180s down the front stretch. He's going to watch these two battle it out right here. And who do you go with? Janczak made the move, and it did not take him long to get it either. I mean, he went right up there and took that spot, and that's how you do it. You don't want to get caught side by side for more than a turn or two. Otherwise, you really start to wear out your tires. So now that Craig Janczak has the lead back, you wonder what can he do with it here, and how can James Harris respond? It's been kind of a question of that so far here tonight. Is whoever gets the lead, can they hold it? And then once they lose it, can they respond? So far, the answer's been no. We'll have to see what happens here. We've had a handful of lead changes so far, and maybe getting ready to see another one as they dive off into turn 1. Harris, though, going to take it easy. He'll roll out of the throttle early, and he's going to stay on the top side here. May gear up for a little bit of a run on Janczak. Let's see what he's got here. Here he comes down the backstretch. Is he going to try to make a move? Nothing yet. The 55 of Harris will stay tucked in line for the moment. By the way, there's different benefits, obviously, depending on which lane you go with, especially if you're the two leaders. Obviously, top-bottom, you get clean air depending on which one you go to, but the top carries momentum down the straight. So if you run up top, you're going to lose time in the corner, but you're going to have a lot more speed and a big run down the straightaways. And if you go to the bottom, kind of more of a defensive line, you're going to be able to kind of gap the guy a little bit in the corner, take the shorter way around, and wear out your tires less. But then obviously you don't get as big of a run once you get onto these two long straightaways. So it's just kind of the battle. It's almost like a chess game. You hear people reference that a lot, a chess game at nearly 200 miles an hour, and it seems like that's what it is. And for Craig Janczak, he's got to make decisions. If he sees that 55 getting bigger in his mirror, does he try to take away his line? Give that 55 just a little bit of dirty air so that he can't get that truck to turn as much as he wants it to. But it seems like right now hasn't had to worry about it, and we are already almost a third of the way through this 66-lap, 132-mile event. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you hanging out with us here on PGR eSports as we watch the Grindstone Developments Truck Series drivers going at it here at Michigan International Speedway. We're having two packs now start to form and separate here just a little bit. The lead pack, all these guys that go right around back to the one of Rodney Pitcock. And you've got a little bit of separation, in fact, about 1.3 seconds worth of separation from Pitcock back to Wesley Shaw, who leads Tyler Meeks, George Young, Stephen Pless, Kevin Martin, and a few others. There's a little trouble here. Brad Thacker in the background. What has happened here to Thacker? Did he get loose off of 4? The 56 slow on the apron here. Everybody's going to dodge him. No caution. We keep things green. What happened to Brad Thacker? I think he may have gotten loose here coming off of 4, but wait a minute now. He may have gotten some help to get him loose. Here he goes. They're going in the corner. That's Toby Ritters in the 3 machine. Just behind him. They dive it down into the corner here. Thacker on the high side. Ritters gets running. Ooh. Actually, before Ritters ever gets to him, Thacker just gets loose. And we're starting to get to that point in the run where handling's going to start to go away for some of these guys. And right as he goes to try to put his foot back on the throttle is when that truck starts to snap on him. And that's just going to get worse, so I'm sure the field's going to be taking note of that. But watch, right there, tries to get on the throttle, and the back tire's just running out of grip. They immediately start to spin. Ritters with a big run, nowhere to go when the 56 starts to slide. Going to tag him in the left rear, and that gets that truck just a little bit more out of shape than what it already was. But, man, Thacker, heck of a save right there. Keeps that truck pointed in the right direction. Throws a little grass up on the straightaway. Again, keeps it clean, and we stay green as 56 of Thacker trying to get back up towards the rest of the pack now. Up front, still leading the way is Craig Janzak. James Harrison second. These two trying to break away just a little bit. But the bulk of this front pack right now is sitting in that 3rd spot, Bryce Rayner. He's trying to fend off a whole bunch of them. Brandon Ball, Caleb Forsyth, Jason Taylor, and Jason Nethery, along with Kevin Kirchar. Rodney Pitcock has since fallen back to that 2nd pack. Starting to see a couple guys get a little bit more daring here with some of the moves they're making. Now, by the way, 100% fuel. You look at that pit stop window. They're good to make it to the end, I think. Probably somewhere right around... Oh, caution. Well, scratch that thought. It's not going to matter. Caution. We got 2 going around on the backstretch here. One of them's the 69. The other's the one of Rodney Pitcock. 69 machine, Kevin Martin. One of the Team Conti trucks for him and Pitcock here. Oh, and still wrecking here, the 22. Not sure what he got his damage from. Man, Michael Hill, you wonder if this happened after the caution came out. Not sure if he really got any damage here. There's Michael Hill in the bottom right. I don't think so. That truck seems to be okay unless... I can't tell from this view. Is he crab walking here a little bit? I don't think so. I think he's okay. We'll be able to find out, though, obviously, when we go back and get a look at it here. First caution of the night, by the way. These guys have been doing a pretty stellar job keeping it clean, but eventually something has to give, and it does. Let's go back and see what happens here. It all starts here with Kevin Martin and Rodney Pitcock as they're going to go, I think, 3 wide here. Actually, Rodney Pitcock, George Young, and Kevin Martin. And this is coming off of 2 here. I think they're going to go 3 wide. There's George Young in the middle. 48 truck splits the middle, and just a little bit of a squeeze right there is, I think, the one of Rodney Pitcock coming up on the 3. Ritters had a brief thought about trying to jump in front of the 48 truck here. It was really close. He may have had it, but he thinks better of it. Yeah, Pitcock, I think, was trying to see if he could sneak in front of the 48 there to go by, as looks like Janzak has joined the driver views while we're under caution here. But we'll back that up again. And watch this one more time. Play it nice and slow. So you see the 48, George Young in the middle, that yellow and black Ford F-150. Right here, he gets a little low, but they're okay there. But watch as the one makes a move. I think George Young's going to react to that move here. I think that's what's going to get these guys in trouble. Right there, you see the one start to come down. Not sure if George Young reacts or if there was just a slight bit of contact. Whatever the case is, it moves his truck down just a little bit, but they're so tight. They're about 3 wide that 69, obviously nowhere to go. Let's see. Boy, it's close. That may have just been some slight contact. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just hard racing. Obviously, nobody doing anything wrong. Just a couple guys really going after it here, and now that we've seen it from that angle, watch it from this view. So the 69, slight contact to the right rear, immediately turns him around, and as he gets sideways, he's going to collect the one of Rodney Pitcock, and we talked about the speeds. Look at this truck. Starts to get up in the air, but quickly able to set back down. Goes for a slide. Doesn't get hit anymore, though, so honestly, he may be okay. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. He does get clipped again. Wow. Wonder if that was that maybe we saw flying by right here. The 22 machine, I think it was. Was that? No, got that wrong. Michael Hill, excuse me, the 27 machine. Wasn't him either. Trying to figure out exactly who this was here that came flying in. Looks like one of the 20s. This is 69. We'll figure this out here eventually. I apologize for the brief delays. Is it Wesley Carter here? 22. I think it may have been. Yeah, it is. Ooh, and there's what got Wesley turned around. So I apologize. I thought that was Michael Hill a minute ago. 22 is actually Wesley Carter, and I was right. He was crab walking a little bit. Look at the damage to the right rear suspension. So we had just switched to the wrong car when we went back. That's why it looked like they weren't crab walking, but there you go. Look at his hands. He's got that wheel cranked about 90 degrees to the left. And that shows you just the damage that he's got. A couple more looks at this here before we go back live and set up for the restart. There's the contact. 69 goes up. It's back on all four. The one Rodney Pitcock goes for a long slide, but he's going to miss the wall. And no, not quite. Does tag it with the back end. Not quite really anywhere to go right there at the end of that. So a tough break there, but gets it fixed to the best that he can and go back out and try again. Show you that again from Kevin Martin. Watches. Gets sideways here. We'll go to the blimp cam. There goes the one down towards the apron. Contact. I think that the worst of this is maybe you can actually go to the 22 here. He was so late after the wreck. Boom, right there. Figuring that right front suspension, or right rear suspension damage rather. Have to get that fixed up. Certainly going to cost him some time and some track position. As we go back live, lights are off. Pace car going to pull off. Craig Janzak, Bryce Rayner line up the front row. 24 going to be 25 laps complete as we inch closer and closer to halfway. Green flag back in the air, and it's a phenomenal restart from the 88 of Janzak. Catches Rayner sleeping by a mile. Boy, that really stacked up the outside. They are losing a ton of ground here as the 15. Jason Nethery, excuse me, that's Jason Taylor already trying to split the middle, see if he can make something happen. They'll get back to 2x2. Further back, though, still some 3 wide. Wesley Shaw on the 52 on the outside. He's going to lose a spot. Just in front of him, how about Kevin Martin? Tyler Meeks trying to make something happen. And this restart does look a little bit more uniform and a little bit cleaner than what we had on that last restart. No close calls yet, but these first couple laps, tires still coming up to 10th. You got to be really, really careful here. Work onto the front stretch. Still so far so good. Now that Janzak has the lead and everybody's kind of reset, wonder how things change. You know, everybody went in there for 4 tires and full fuel. If they can make it the rest of the way from here, 40 laps, it's close. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure. I know at a track like Daytona, trucks could probably go about 32 laps or so, maybe a little bit more saving. I would assume here they could go even further than that. So the point is it'll be close. We'll keep tabs on it. Now, if they get a caution, I think arguably from any point after lap 36, actually maybe even sooner than that, maybe after lap 30 to 32, and yes, I would say everybody's going to be guaranteed good to go on fuel the rest of the way. How about 3 wide now down the front stretch? This is going to be the battle for that 14th position. Eli Childs up top. See the 84, Brian Toole trying to sneak by. Not quite able to get it. He had a good run there in the middle, but now he's going to get turned, try to save it. Can they hold on? Brian Toole back up the racetrack. Wesley Shaw has to give him some room. Man, what a close call that was. Brad Thacker also had to make evasive maneuvers. Eli Childs is going to come out with the lead, though. And it does not get much closer than that. Things could have ended really bad right there. Almost our second caution of the night. These drivers find a way to save it. That's what you worry about on these restarts when you know you have to be aggressive, but at the same time, always worry about the possibility of something like that happening. Now the 17 of Brandon Ball up near the front. He's getting ready to try to make a challenge here on Janzak. So Craig Janzak has been on fire here tonight. Hasn't let them all. In fact, it was a pretty even split earlier, but once he took the lead later in that run before we had the caution, that was when it seemed like really nobody could find a way to get around him. And for Janzak now, he's going to be trying to, I think, maintain this clean air again. He feels like it's probably pretty important, so he's not just going to give it up all that easily at this point. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So I'm telling you, that 17 truck looks pretty fast, and he's being very, very patient. He's kind of sitting in the draft, riding behind Janzak, who we ride on board with right now. And just as I said it, there he goes. Janzak going to try to pull off a big side draft on him here, down in 1 and 2. And the 17 decided not to send it in too deep just yet. Maybe just testing the waters. Unfortunately, though, you see what that does to his momentum as he tries to slide back up in front of Forsyth. Forsyth says, I don't think so, and he's going to jump to the inside down the back stretch and try to slide clear into 3. And he will do just that. So the attempted move to gain a spot for Brandon Ball. Ends up a negative loss for him. As now the 55, James Harris, looking for a run here. 17 will follow. Forsyth all the way down towards the apron. Watch out up top. Traffic jam here. Looks like James Harris decided to dive low. He'll be the first truck to dive out of line into one. Looks like he's going to get a couple followers. Bryce Rayner down on the inside. How about the 34 down there as well, trying to make something happen? That's Jason Nethery. We are just about 3 laps away from halfway now in the Michigan 132. And how about this? New leader, Caleb Forsyth, going to go to the point up front. First laps that'll be led by him here tonight. Takes that spot away from Janczak. But how long is Janczak going to sit there and take second? It's almost like what we saw in the real-life Atlanta race, the real-life Atlanta truck race, I should say, on Saturday, where this is one of those tracks that you feel like any run you get, if you're in one of the top 2 spots, you got to take. You cannot afford to just sit back and wait, because the second that those tires reach point of wears, whoa, a little bit of contact right there between these two as they came off of turn 2, and that was close. They're going to keep it together. There's maybe a little more contact. Going into 3, Forsyth and Janczak. Elbows out here, but the point I was getting ready to make is, it seems like once you lose that spot, as soon as the tires reach that point where you can't make moves like you are right now anymore, it's just so hard to get past. And that's why I think you're seeing Forsyth and Janczak go at it so aggressively right now, as Caleb back to the inside. He made that move off of 4, and he'll get clear off into 1. Janczak here is going to try to look to the outside. Caleb needs to slide up. He's looking. Whoa, Janczak gives him a big shot. Forsyth on a little bit of a late block right there. You got to be careful here. You don't want to get yourself wrecked. I know Forsyth's trying to stay aggressive to keep this lead, but I think Janczak's getting close to having enough of that. So Janczak here off of 4. He's trying to slide clear, but he's not going to be able to do it. So instead, he'll dive all the way down to the apron. Going to get a little bit of aero help here in the form of another Team Conti driver. It's Bryce Rayner. Rayner looks to the inside here, not quite able to get up to the back bumper of that 88. Janczak going to sail it deep in the corner again right here. Again, no luck. He'll slide up the racetrack. Forsyth is there, and now the 776 has the run again. Janczak going to slide up just in front of the 55 of James Harris. And these two know each other well. It seems like they've tangled the last couple weeks, and it's no hard feelings against each other. They just seem to have bad luck when it comes to getting together. But for Janczak and Harris here, maybe able to do a little bit of work together. We got their 2 onboard views up. James Harris here on the outside. And he was just pushing Janczak a moment ago on the outside down the backstretch. Not going to be able to do it this time, though. Janczak's going to take another look to the inside here. And for James Harris, he's just kind of watching, stalking in the footsteps right now. As, ooh, Bryce Rayner with a brief blink right there. Coming off of 2. Whoa, another big moment. They all keep it together. And how about the 69? Out of nowhere, Kevin Martin, after being involved in that first incident, has now found his way almost all the way back to the front, as we have now crossed the halfway point in this race. Very, very impressive run so far from the 69 machine here tonight after being involved in that wreck. And here he is back inside the top 5 with just about 30 laps to go here at Michigan. And oh, James Harris is going to blow the entry, and he gets into the outside wall right there. Looks like he's okay. He may have done a little damage to the right side, but overall that truck should be fine. And look at this. I mean, it literally looks like we are at Daytona or Talladega or even Atlanta like we were last week, where these guys just can't seem to get separated from each other. Still, you could throw the top 10, top 15 all under a blanket. All are separated by less than a second and a half. And it just continues to go that way. And now Janczak up front. He's going to have a lot of energy to try to hold off here as they work off towards turn number 1. Bryce Rayner. Actually, I think that time that was a 17. It blinked out. Sure enough, it was. Forsyth looking for another move to the bottom. Janczak trying to cut off the nose, see if he can take away that clean air. Not able to do it, but Forsyth not able to make the move stick either. How about Brandon Ball now? Trying to make a 3-truck tandem up top, and Jason Taylor up 8 positions from where he started this race at. Now he's going to try to maybe take a look for the lead. And for Jason Taylor here, good opportunity. Not really so much for points, but a great opportunity to, again, go get a win. I mean, I feel like as a driver, as soon as you get that win out of the way, it feels like a successful season. Even if not, it can still feel like a successful one, but certainly in a case where points aren't going your way, you turn your attention to focusing on just trying to find at least that one win before the season wraps up and it's all said and done. Jason Taylor going to be looking for that and looking for the lead here, potentially off at 2. He had a run. Looks like he chose not to take it, at least for the time being. The 15, another run, still no move. Janczak has got to be just sitting there watching his mirror, waiting to see when the move is going to be made right now from the 15 of Jason Taylor, but he continues to not budge. At least not yet. We'll see how long he's able to hold out with that. See the field roaring by. This is from our pit lane cam. A little bit of a unique perspective. Again, speeds well over 180 miles an hour here at Michigan International Speedway. By the way, if you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. Hope that you are having a good Tuesday night. We're watching the Grindstone Developments Truck Series live on PGR eSports. After this, Tuesday Night Thunder continues. Rather, starts a new season here tonight. Go check that out. Michael Triscaro will be on the call for that one. Tuesday Night Thunder, always a great money racing series. So as we will now take officially 39 of 66 laps, we are going to take our first break tonight. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. We'll be back at Michigan.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run!
Ladies and gentlemen, look,
This season, we
Are hydrated. The official sports drink of the UFC. It's on! Oh, that's good.
green flag is in the air. We are racing.
3x3.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. Apologies for that brief delay right there. We were trying to fix up some of these guys' driver cams that you saw appear all on the screen at once. And boy, while we were gone, a couple of interesting events, and we're kind of right in the thick of it right now. We had pit stops underway, and that may have led to this incident that you saw for Kevin Kirchar. Massive, massive damage to the right front of that truck. His day, I would say, is just about done. Now, he does have that fast spare, but obviously the track position that he's lost at this point, just trying to limp this thing around, is going to be more than enough to cost him. And let's see if we can actually go back here. We might have to go back to the first pit stop. That might be the easiest way to view this. I think that's where everything goes wrong here, as they're going to be coming off of 4. Okay, and let's go back here to Kevin Kirchar. So this is on the front stretch. Let's see here. Maybe the lap after this. I think it is. So we'll speed this up even further right here, so you can figure out exactly what happens to the 91 of Kevin Kirchar on the back. That's a close call right there between him and the 17. They keep it together. That's not the big issue. This is. See, the 15 is going to try to slow up to make to the pits. No issues there. And, ooh, Kirchar just starts to get loose. And the 55, James Harris, has absolutely nowhere to go once the 91 gets loose. And look at this. Some close calls. Man, Toby Ritter's barely sneaking through. Wesley Shaw and a few others there as well. Just barely able to miss that one. So that was the close call, but it didn't bring out the caution. So as a result, we are seeing what may very well be our first green flag pit stops of the season. Even though we're this far in, and Craig Janzak, Bryce Rayner now going to bring it down, and this is their last stop of the night, assuming everything goes good for everybody here. So this has to be the money stop. Cannot afford to make any mistakes on this one if you want a shot at winning this race. And I think the call's 4 tires and fuel for everybody. Maybe a couple of 2 tires, but I just don't know that that's really the right call here, especially with how bad tire wear seems to be. So everybody's going to take 4 tires and they'll race their way right back out of the pits. Janzak let him in. He'll lead him out, followed by Bryce Rayner. You see the 69 right there as well, Kevin Martin. Looks like he was followed by James Harris. So that doesn't quite wrap up our pit stop. We still have a few more rounds to go here. Ryan Toole, Toby Ritters making their way down, and here comes the 52 of Wesley Shaw, along with the 69 of Stephen Pless. So we'll continue pit stops here a few more times. Looks like, in fact, Tyler Meeks, Wesley Carter, Michael Hill, and Kevin Ward are the 3 trucks that have yet to pit. Now, you could be trying the strategy here of just hoping for a caution before you run out of fuel with just 20 laps to go. If you get it, it's a great strategy, but if not, kind of ultimately taking yourself out of any chance of a good finish in this race. But sometimes you got to gamble, especially if you're one of the drivers where you feel like the season maybe hasn't necessarily gone the way that you've wanted it to so far. Here's your chance. Take a chance, and you certainly never know the way things could pan out. But right now, with just 19 laps to go, I think that Craig Janzak has got to be feeling probably pretty good with where he sits at the moment. He's got a couple of trucks that he's still going to have to work around here, and he's getting around one of them right now. That was Jason Taylor. And now that'll leave Nazareth and Forsyth as the other 2 trucks that he's got to get around, both right in view. So once he gets clear of these 2, for Janzak, it'll be hoisting the sails and hoping that it's clear seas the rest of the way in terms of no cautions. If that's the case, he could very well be on his way to his 5th win of the season, as we pretty much have just all but locked down the fact that he will be the points champion. And if you needed any extra justification, this may very well be it here tonight, depending on how things finish out. But for Janzak, got to just love the consistency in the clinics that he has put on this season. I mean, the guy is an absolute beast when it comes to any form of track. Road course, super speedways, mile and a halves, 2 mile, you name it. He's found a way to do it so far. I think that may continue here over the next couple weeks. And by the way, I mentioned that we're really pretty much towards the end of the season. Not much left to go. Now, these guys have already set up for the next season, but as far as this season goes, next week will be the last race of the season. That's 9 total races that were ran this season, and it will be at Auto Club. So again, a track very similar to Michigan, maybe a little bit less banking in the corners, but obviously much bumpier. And those are really the 2 arguably most notable differences, as Tyler Meeks continues to lead up front, still yet to make his pit stop. But a good run so far here tonight for the driver of the 99, currently up 8 spots from where he started this race at. As far as next season goes, schedule was released. They'll kick things off March 25th at Homestead, and then they're off to Martinsville, followed by Talladega. So Talladega is going to be on April 8th. It's Bristol, Rockingham, Dover, Texas, Kansas, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Nashville, and then Michigan to round out the season. So there you go. If you're interested in joining, we have the link we have the link in the description to the league below. Make sure that you do check out Grindstone Developments Truck Series if you want to try to get in a good truck league. These guys have put on a show each and every week. And when we started things off at Five Flag Speedway, where we currently run now, going to be coming up on just 15 laps remaining here at Michigan when Tyler Meeks crosses the line next time. Still has not made a pit stop yet. They're going to have to at some point here, and in fact, looks like two of the guys that may have been holding out a little bit have just now given up, Michael Hill and Wesley Carter. I think these two have been running towards the back, and they're now going to make their way out in those two Ford F-150s, two good-looking paint schemes at that. So Tyler Meeks still out on the racetrack, seeing 69 going around to get a lap back. And so for Martin, it's going to put him, excuse me, that was the other 69. We got two 69s in here tonight. And so either way, as they run right now, you've got Tyler Meeks leading, Kevin Ward second, and Craig Janzak third. But based off of pit strategy, once these two leaders pit, Janzak's going to be leading, and by a pretty good margin. In fact, looks like he'll be leading by at least a second or two. Unless, let's go back here and see if we can actually get some eyes on Craig Janzak and company. Well, here you go. I thought that he was going to have a bigger gap than this, but he doesn't. In fact, he's got 3 total trucks in that group, including himself, Eli Childs, and the 99 of Bryce Rayner. 2 trucks with him, and these two, even if all 3 of these, I should say, are Team Conti trucks, they may be teammates, but I don't think they're just going to roll over at the end of this race for Janzak. So if they can keep each other in drafting range and pretty close here, they may very well have a shot at this thing. We come down to the last couple of laps here tonight. 13 laps now remaining for Michigan International Speedway. And up front, still Tyler Meeks, who leads the way. Kevin Ward second. Craig Janzak third. Eli Childs fourth. And Bryce Rayner rounding out your top 5. Well, just before we get with inside 10 laps to go here, PGR eSports, next big event for us, Thursday. The Intimidator Super Speedway Series kicks off March Madness 32-truck bracket that is already kind of included, I guess would be the best way to put it, within the regular field. So we're still going to have the typical 45 drivers, but you're also going to have 32 of those drivers that are going head-to-head, so 16 total matchups. And it's going to be just like the March Madness bracket. So 16 matchups to start. The winner from each matchup moves on to the next week's matchup. And so we'll go from 16 down to 8, and then down to 4, down to 2 to determine a March Madness champion. That's always a fun event. That was kind of a coined event by PGR. Looking forward to starting that this week. And if you got nothing else going on, check it out. Whether you're going to race it or running it, either way, going to be a good time. All right, back live we go now, where we see just 12 laps remaining here at Michigan International Speedway. And for Tyler Meeks, continues to lead, but we know realistically that's just not going to hold. Kevin Ward currently in second. Craig Janzak back in third, 11 seconds behind your leader, with Bryce Rayner and Eli Childs continuing to follow in tow. We'll go back to the field here one more time before we focus more towards the front the rest of the way. As, John Legger here. Oh, man. Oh, caution. Wow, what a hit. Massive hit for the 19 of John Legger. Oh, my goodness. And he's going to tag the inside wall again. Wow, what an impact that was. Right as we pan the camera over the 19. Huge, huge hit into the wall. And Team Conti was looking 1, 2, 3. And they're going to be looking for a good restart tee. If they want to keep it that way, this is going to get aggressive. But, man, what a hit for the 19. What happened here? Things to go that bad for John Legger here, who was really fast early on. Through 4. Looks like he's trying to make a pit stop. Or he's getting loose. Oh, man. Well, that explains that. Oh, man. That's Kevin Kirchard, too, who already was involved in that earlier wreck and took his fast spare, so he's going to be done. So what I'm curious here for Legger is he get... I don't think he's trying to pit. I think he gets loose. Let's see. No, I take that back. He had a technical issue. Had to have. I mean, look at the wheel. I mean, this thing's plowing tight. It's not... It never even gets loose on him. He just drives this thing left. And right there. Notice how left the wheel goes. It seems like he's straightening it, but I just don't know what happened there. and got to assume it's some sort of technical issue, but oh my goodness. That is brutal for John Legger. Watch this in slow motion. Oh, man, just rips the front end off of that truck. He's going to do a flip immediately. That's where that wall jets out, and he goes head on. He had to be going probably 180, 190 still, or excuse me, 170, 180. And he hits it so hard that even as the truck's barrel rolling and flipping, he gets all the way back onto the racetrack and then gets clobbered kind of in the tailgate area, maybe even the bed, by Kevin Kirchar, who obviously had absolutely nowhere to go. Destroys both of those trucks and puts us under a late caution here. Let's watch it from Kevin Kirchar. I'm interested to see what this looked like from his point of view, and I can only imagine what was going through his mind as he sees the 19 clobber along go up the track. And made that decision to try to commit high. Unfortunately, that's where the 19 of Legger ends up. It's on from there. A couple more angles of this here before we go back live. And that's one of the biggest hits we have seen all season. I'm really curious, though, just to know what in the world happened. And we've seen, I feel like, a couple technical malfunctions, and that one is a really, really unfortunate one. Very, very lucky that that wasn't the leaders that came up on him as that happened, or that could have been catastrophic towards the finish of this race. But the 19 destroyed still, just sitting by the inside wall in the grass. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see if the pace car lets these guys go back green with the truck just sitting there. Again, whatever issue he had was some sort of major problem. So he just continues to sit there for the moment. Legger not even able to disconnect. That's pretty much the dead giveaway that was a major issue. Look at that steering wheel. Still dead to the left as well. So this is a peculiar situation. But it looks like the lights are going to go off on the pace car. So we should get this thing back under green here with 7 laps to go. And Wesley Shaw currently being scored as your leader. A strategy call here for the 52. I think he's going to get eaten up by these fresher tires, but we'll have to wait and see. Craig Janzak second, Bryce Rayner third. Tyler Meeks fourth with James Harris currently rounding out your top 5. And again, if you're just joining us, you picked a good time to do it. 7-lap shootout at Michigan. You thought you saw aggressive up to this point. Well, let me tell you, you're getting ready to see something else here. And this is one now where it really is going to be like a Talladega or Daytona. 7 laps, that's short enough where you can basically go all out on these tires. And I think that's exactly what you're going to see just about everybody up front doing. Trying to get track position, especially knowing that there's a risk of, if we get another caution here, we could be headed into overtime. Wesley Shaw, big opportunity right here, depending on what he can make happen. Still looking for his first win of the season. Maybe tonight's calling card. Have to wait and see. I believe that's another one of the college esports drivers. So here we go. The iRacing.com pace car going to make that left turn down to the pits off of turn 4, and he's getting ready to watch the same thing we are. And that is an exciting short shootout to decide who is going to win it tonight at Michigan. Wesley Shaw on the inside, Craig Janzak on the outside. 7 laps to go, green flag in the air. Great restart for Wesley Shaw, and immediately the 88 of Craig Janzak jumps down further back. The 55 of James Harris going to jump 3 wide early. See things now actually starting to fog up here just a little bit via the blimp cam. To pull up the weather. Yeah, looks like humidity is going up 94%. That explains it, but you can still see 3 wide now. Down the backstretch for the lead just for a moment. Wesley Shaw stuck in the middle. Nothing he can do. Bryce Rayner trying to find a way around right here. Janzak, though, was able to pull clear the lead. That's what he needed to do. That was a big move for him as, whoa, watch out back. A couple trucks digging on the outside. Looked like Ritters may have gotten loose, but they all keep it together. Now the front 6 are going to start to single out as, whoa. Wesley Shaw, and whoa, George Young going to get turned. Oh, hard hit off the inside wall. Watch out, he's coming back up. Caution is out. And I think that Michael Hill just barely missed him. Heavy hit to the inside concrete for George Young. Smoke out the back. That engine is destroyed. So he's going to have to go take his fast repair now. 3rd caution of the night. And I do believe that we are going to be headed to overtime with that caution. So we'll go back and look at it here first before we set up for that overtime. But for George Young here, it looked like Wesley Shaw was just kind of hanging on a not clear here for a little while. Let's see if that's indeed what it was or if there was a little bit more to it. So you got Wesley there in the 52, just in front of the 48. Black and yellow number right there. And then watch, George Young going to dive all the way down to the apron again. No out of bounds here. Go as far as you want. And then Wesley Shaw, I'm not sure if he doesn't see him or tries to block him just way too late. I mean, George Young is there, and once Wesley gets into him, I think that gets his truck a little upset, and then Wesley back down into him again, and he's able to save it. Unfortunately for George Young, not so lucky. There's that big hit, and right here, watch how close this was. Oh, Michael Hill, I may have just barely clipped him. See if iRacing counts it as actual contact or not, but you know, that's a tough break for George Young. Kind of minding his P's and Q's all day, setting up for the end here to make a move. And except for Wesley Shaw, it's just interesting. I'm not sure if he thought he was still clear to cover the block or if he was just not really realizing he was there. That's just really, really late. It always seems like the guys that end up causing the incident, and again, this is no diss to anybody, it's always a trend you notice, is it always seems like the guy that causes the incident ends up being the one that escapes with no damage, and the one that's kind of the innocent victim always gets the worst of it. That's exactly what that was for George Young. Watch this again from his point of view, and you're going to see it happened so quick that you can't really say that, oh, well, why didn't he just turn down? It happened so quick, he's not expecting the 52 to come down like that, and this late in the race, you don't expect a lift if you're there, and just a tough break for George Young and Michael Hill. Right there at the last second. Nowhere to go. One more angle of this here before we go back live. There's that big hit as he jets back up the racetrack. Michael Hill trying to sneak by right there. That's where there may have just been a little bit of a brush on the left front. We'll have to see what happens. As we go back live now, 4 laps to go. It'll be 3 when the pace car crosses this time. Craig Janzak, your current leader. Bryce Rayner, second. With Tyler Meeks, third. James Harris, fourth. And Caleb Forsyth rounding out short top 5. And for George Young here, tried to get the truck back going, but I think he realized it was destroyed, so took it through the grass and limped it to the pits that way. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back for the restart. Overtime attempt number 1 coming up at Michigan.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was really awesome.
All right, welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. Going to be a 2-lap shootout, overtime attempt number 1. Quick reminder of the rules. 2 laps if the leader takes the white flag, race is official. Caution comes out before the leader takes the white flag. Then we will rack them up and try it again. Here we go. Pace car pulls off. Back into the Geico restart zone we go. Craig Janzak, Bryce Rayner, Team Conti, row 1. Green flag back in the air. 4 miles remaining at Michigan. Great restart for Craig Janzak. He is going to lead them all off into turn 1. Notice that big arc. He's trying to set himself up to get as big of a run as he can. And how about Tyler Meeks? Talked about he was gambling for strategy, and here he is now in second, maybe looking for a move for the lead. Janczak blocks low, tries to block high. Meeks is there, nothing for Janczak to do. And if Meeks can hold off here, he's got the preferred lane. Watch out, though. Janczak's going to try to slide up as they work off a turn 4. White flag in the air. Will they make it? Yes, they will. Race is official. 1 lap to go at Michigan, and it is still a 4-truck race. Janczak looking for another block. Where will Meeks go? Now he looks back to the inside. Janczak's going to try to pinch him down here. Maybe no. Actually decides to give him some room as they work through 1 and 2. Now Meeks is going to get tight. Slides up the racetrack. Rayner's looking 3 wide. Here comes the 55 of James Harris on the bottom. Final time into turn 3. Can Janczak fend them all off for 1 more set of corners? Rayner's going to dive it in deep. James Harris will as well. No momentum out back, at least not yet. Final time off of 4. No run. Craig Janczak's going to make it an even 5. He will win it at Michigan. Craig Janczak, your race winner. Bryce Rayner takes home second. And James Harris with his 3rd podium in 3 weeks. What a finish for Craig Janczak. Well, he had to work for that one there at the end. These guys were not making it easy. And for Tyler Meeks, man, I think he got taken out there at the end. He was having such a good run, a great shot at it, but it looks like he's going to ultimately be scored 8th. So really tough break there, and for Janczak, no burnout tonight. So we'll go back and look at the results here before we look at one brief replay of that final lap. But again, Craig Janczak, your official race winner here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. Bryce Rayner takes home 2nd to make it a 1-2 for the Team Conti trucks. James Harris finishes 3rd, the 3rd week in a row that he is on the podium. Caleb Forsyth 4th. Toby Ritter's 5th with Eli Childs back in 6th. Jason Taylor 7th. Jason Ethery in 8th with Brian Toole 9th. Brad Thacker 10th. Stephen Pless back at 11th with Kevin Martin in 12th. And you've got Kevin Ward 13th. Brandon Ball 14th. Wesley Carter in 15th with Wesley Shaw in 16th. Michael Hill 17th. And then it's Tyler Meeks, fortunately, after that last lap incident, finishing back in that 18th spot. George Young in 19th. And John Legger rounding out your top 20. Kevin Kirchar, after being involved in a few incidents here tonight, finishes 21st. And Rodney Pitcock rounds out the field. He finishes in 22nd. All right, before we go grab your top 3 for interviews, go back and look at this last half a lap. I'm just more curious to see what unfolded with this wreck here involving Tyler Meeks, who we said looked like was in pretty good position here. And then all of a sudden he wasn't. This is going to be coming through 3 and 4, I believe. And let's see. Yep, sure enough. Meeks up the racetrack here on the outside and just getting passed by, it feels like, the entire field. And then the 17 ring ball starting to slide up. And slide into that 19 truck, gets him in the wall, and you're just going to start wrecking from there. The big hits at that point. Nothing Tyler Meeks can do. Again, a really tough break, but for Craig Janczak, takes the win by a pretty good margin here. Rayner, maybe if he had a little bit of a push out back for one more lap, who knows? I just don't know, but Janczak snaking the draft wasn't going to let him even have a chance at it. Teammate or not, Craig wanted that one, and he got it. All right, with that, we're going to go grab your top 3 for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Michigan. All right, going to start first here tonight with your race winner, and that is Craig Janczak. Craig, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? And we'll give him just another moment here. Hey, Craig, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? Oh, well, I'll take that back. I know exactly why he can't hear me. So let's go fix this for him so that he can hear me. All right, let's try it that way. Hey, Craig, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, there you go. I was about to say something. What's going on, man?
Not much. Well, you grab win number 5 here tonight at Michigan, but it made you work for this one a little bit more than usual. Late restart. You fend them all off, and after 2 weeks of late race restarts that don't go your way, how'd it feel to get the job done here tonight?
Yeah, it feels really good. This Team Contest and Performance setup is just unreal, and it was back in December, and I had the confidence to load up in it today. without doing much preparation, and it handled the exact same way, even with a completely different track set of conditions to what it was when it was official a few months ago as well. So really happy with the performance here tonight. Really happy that Bryce was able to get second there as well. Had a really good showing with Team Conti Sim Performance Trucks all night near the front. And a really good team-oriented win, because it took a lot of help. Honestly, it took a lot of help.
Yeah, certainly did. And now that you've got that 5th win, I think it's pretty much all but official that you are going to be the season champion regarding points. But we still have one race left. Auto Club, very similar to Michigan, but a little bit rougher. What's the game plan next week?
Yeah, the line changes completely because you can go basically anywhere at Auto Club. You're pretty limited at Legacy Michigan with considering tire wear. So we have a much better variability. The racing product itself should be a lot more incredible next week as well. And even as it was, I think it was pretty racy throughout the field here tonight. So we're locked in, we're dialed in. We're driving really well this week in C Open with Auto Club. And I think that type of performance will only continue to carry. So I look really forward to that, and just really honored to be the champion here for the first edition of the Grindstone Series, Grindstone Development Series. That is, we've been lucky enough to have Kevin Kirscher promote our league for a very, very long time. He's really selfless and just as kind as they come. So I thank him for doing that for us. But it's nice to be able to claim the inaugural Grindstone Developments Championship for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Craig, before we let you head out here tonight to go celebrate, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, huge thanks to you guys, PGR eSports. Just everything that you guys put on seems to have great allure with it, and just the highest quality of products. So I'm really, really happy to be a part of that, and everybody that showed up here competitors wise tonight. Thanks to the whole admin team here as well. Everybody that supports me, Team Conti Sim Performance, Digital Sim Sports, Studio 3, Martin PC, Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show, Mom, Dad, Aunt Sandy, my girlfriend Anna, thank you. And shout out to Eli getting a good finish here. He doesn't show up too much. Really happy to have him and Pless and Kevin Martin joining us now from the Team Conti ranks with Bryce and I for the full season. So just a really good one here today, and I'm just feeling extra thankful.
Well, thank you for talking to us, Craig. Again, congrats on the win, 5th one, and maybe we could see one more next week. We'll see you at Auto Club.
We'll give it hell, buddy. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Now that's going to bring us up to your 2nd place finisher here tonight, and that is another one of the Team Conti drivers. We'll get him up here in just a moment. And that's the 99 machine of Bryce Rayner. Bryce, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Austin.
Well, your Team Conti teammate grabs the win, but you grab 2nd. And first question is, man, looked like you had a couple of shots there on that overtime start. What more do you think you needed in those last 2 laps for him?
Probably no caution. I felt like I definitely could have got him within the green flag run to the end after our pit stop with Eli behind us. I was pushing him too to gain to Craig, and we got there, and then he let me by, and I was going to try to duke it out with Craig. But again, we come up short yet again for, I don't know, the 3rd week in this whole series, but, we'll keep pushing.
Yeah, well, you still got one more week at a similar style track. Very fast here tonight, even with some of the conditions and obviously the late caution. Now, overall, you look kind of back at the season in retrospect. I know, again, that we still have one race left, but how have you felt about the performance so far, and how do you feel like the season's been up to this point?
Oh, it's been a blast, and our performance with Team Conti and these open sets. They bring rocket ships each and every week, and we'll tweak them here and there, and they are the ones who make these sets really, really shine, either in the long runs or short runs. So it's been a blast running these, especially with all our teammates in this league. It's been fun, but our season was up and down this year. First season with Grindstone Developments and all these guys, but if it wasn't for some connection issues at certain tracks or getting crashed, I felt like we probably could have gave Craig a run for his money. I keep joking with him about that I'm going to beat him one of these weeks, but I always keep coming up one spot short.
Well, maybe one spot short here tonight, but still a good finish nonetheless. So before we let you head out, Bryce, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for broadcasting this race as always. Each week, it's a blast to watching back, and this racing in general tonight was immaculate. I would say it was a super fun racetrack, super fast, make a lot of moves, bottom, top, middle, you name it. It's just a blast when you have a good car that handles well, and then you can make passes as well. It's always fun and good to have teammates to joke about certain things. So it's all in good fun for sure. I hope everyone thinks that as well. But thanks to Team Conti for sure for all the sets each and every week. Digital Sim Sports, Martin PC, and family and friends who are watching tonight.
And Bryce, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish, and we will see you next week at Auto Club.
Yeah, thanks, Austin.
All right, now that's going to bring us up to your final podium finisher here tonight, third week in a row with a podium finish for James Harris. James, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Austin, how's it going?
Good. Well, man, you finished third here tonight. Again, that's the third podium in 3 weeks. You said it was one of your favorite tracks. You felt like it was one of your best tracks going into tonight. How'd you feel about the race overall?
Felt pretty good. We made some changes. That first run, we got a little looser than we liked, and we made some changes on that first pit stop that seemed to really help the truck. However, I messed myself up going to turn 1 and I think I lost like 7 or 8 spots, but we got her going pretty good there at the end. Made some more adjustments, and man, she was on a rail. I think if we had another 2 laps, we probably could have had something for Craig. But it was a good race overall.
Yeah, it certainly was. And next week we go to Auto Club, very similar style racetrack to what we saw here tonight. What kind of approach do you take? Do you take the same setup and make adjustments? Do you feel like you're gonna have a good shot there? What's the mindset?
Well, I'm a house driver for Team Watson Racing, and Auto Club is this week. So we've been working on our setup since yesterday. We've got 2 different versions out with a lot of adjustments from the original setup, and it's really, really good on long runs. So we're going to test it some more this week, and hopefully we'll have something for them next week.
Sounds like a plan. Well, James, we appreciate you talking to us. So before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I thank my wife, Courtney, for supporting me and watching all the races. Hi, Courtney. Love you. Kevin Kirster, Blackstone Management, and Grindstone Developments. And just all the guys in the league. I have fun every week, and we've been doing this for about 4 years together, and we're glad to have you guys on board as a broadcaster, and hopefully we can keep you guys around for a while.
Absolutely. And James, again, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the third place finish. We'll see if you can make it 4 podiums in a row next week. We'll see you at Auto Club.
10-4, we're going to do our best.
All right, there you go. Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Michigan International Speedway. What a great race that one was. Craig Janzak collects another win and a few cautions and but overall, I think that was one of the cleaner events. We saw green flag stops, and so now I'm excited to see what we're going to have for the season finale next week at Auto Club. Should be a good one. That's it for tonight. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed. That's it for me, Austin Green, here on PGR eSports, and until next time, have a good night.